Hello everyone, welcome to a new reading. Today we have a pick a card. So today's reading we have how to activate your abundance. So I am assuming, based on the energy that I'm in, that when you stumble upon this video, you're probably in a decent place. You are, well, we will see when the cards come out, but do know that you're always full of abundance, and the purpose of this reading is to help you recognize the abundance that you're surrounded with and that you have at your fingertips. My goal for this reading is to help you visualize and inspire you. Is kind of one of the look, I literally wrote it down. I wrote that my purpose was to set your creativity ablaze to inspire you to use it. And also it was to help you find and recognize your foundation of success. Those were the words that I wrote down. I took out tarot cards yesterday to help me figure out what I wanted to say and how this reading was going to work out. And one of the cards that came out at the bottom of the deck was the Page of Wands, and I thought that was a very good card to show like a new beginning. A card that is not quite yet taking action, but is definitely already planning and is already feeling itself with this spark of inspiration that is ready to take action at any moment. So I do feel that that will be a very good card to represent the type of energy that I would like to bring into your life today. So yeah, in front of me we have 4 different piles. Each pile will have its designated tarot deck, and in front of me I will show you the Page of Wands of each of the tarot decks for its respective pile. So for pile number 1 we have the Chibi Tarot. This is how it looks on the back, and this is what your Page of Wands looks like. Now for pile number 2 we have the Beginner's Tarot Kit Tarot. And this is what it looks like on the back, and this is what your Page of Wands looks like. Now this is pile number 3 with the Santa Muerte Tarot. This is what it looks like on the back, and this is what your Page of Wands looks like. And last but not least, we have pile number 4 with the Linestrider Tarot, and this is what your card looks like on the back, and this is what the Page of Wands looks like. So now feel free to pause the video if you need more time to meditate on which pile you're going to choose. And if you have already picked a pile, in the description below I will have the timestamps so you can jump to your pile. And with all of that said, I will start with pile number 1. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. For those of you that picked pile 1 or the Chibi Tarot, this is how you can activate your abundance. So let's leave your tarot to the side for now. And let's look at your oracle. So the first cards that I want to take out will be representing you right now. So we have the Panther Spirit and we have the Lion Spirit. You are ready to take action. You have a lot of energy and a lot of your focus is in taking action and getting things done. Here we have 2 fire signs. That's what I'm talking about here, taking action. And also we have 2 apex predators right here with the panther and the lion, which kind of shows that you're at the top of your game, you're focused, you're concentrating on your goals, you already know what you want and you're already pursuing it and chasing after those goals. It really feels like you are laser focused on whatever it is that you want to do. So I do look forward to the other cards that you have to see what's going on here as well. But there is also this sense of you're very protective of either your energy, yourself, or even this goal. Like this Panther card makes me think of someone that is aggressively pursuing their goal, but at the same time, if anyone gets in the way of reaching this goal, I do feel that you kind of do jump and go back off or get out of the way, or do not distract me or something along those lines. There's this sense of you being maybe even a little bit on edge about this. So either you're working on something that is very important to you, or you're working on something that a lot of people are just distracting you constantly and it's annoying you. Also, the other thing that I'm getting, since the eyes of this panther are green, it makes me think of the heart chakra. So that kind of also shows that whatever it is that you're working on is one thing where you kind of have to really protect your heart, your emotions, and even your intentions. I do feel that it's not easy for you to speak up about what you want to do, what it is that you desire, or what your goals are. Or you may be in an environment that is not super welcoming to emotions. So I do feel that maybe you feel like you have to put your guard up or be a bit defensive. Now, the other colors that we have right here with the lion, I do feel that whatever you're working on is something that will bring you a lot of pride, something that you do look forward to accomplishing. It is something that it will look very good in the eyes of many other people as well. So either you have to put a lot of confidence in your person in order to pursue this goal, or you're doing something that will boost up your reputation somehow. Also, I do feel like you're in two states. One state is like very, as I mentioned earlier, aggressively pursuing your goal, and the other one where you very calmly just sit back and observe the situation. You just kind of allow things to come in, or you just allow things to flow and happen before you start taking action. So I do feel like you do have these two modes. You know, the other thing that I'm getting is like on the outside you may seem very cool, calm, and collected, and then on the inside, since when your worries or the unknown starts creeping in, you kind of start getting all defensive within yourself. Maybe even within your own mind, you're like, no, everything's gonna work out, or like, oh, that doesn't bother me, or stuff like along those lines. Like you are kind of like trying to make sure that your motivation doesn't go away, or you're trying to make sure that your doubts and fear don't overtake you in the inside. Well, this is very interesting energy so far. Okay, let's look at the rest of your oracle decks. Let's look at the rest of your oracle cards on your decks. So we have Marine Life with Richness. This kind of just shows that your abundance is one that you can see in every aspect of your life, and it is filled with a lot of new things that you've never thought of, things that you've never seen before, things that you are barely going to get introduced to. This marine life and richness tells me that there's a lot of variety, there's a lot of color, there's a lot of pieces or people involved in what you want to do. And the best way that you can activate your abundance is by gathering a lot of new information wherever it comes from. Maybe you read about it, maybe you hear about it, maybe someone tells you about this, maybe you experience it, or you see it, you hear it. There is a sense of like, with this richness, that putting yourself in a place with people that don't think like you, or reading things that don't always go with what you believe in, like exposing yourself to all of these new perspectives and this new way of doing things will definitely help you activate your abundance, because you will be able to see things in a different way. There's a sense of that you could be a person that is filled with a lot of pride, so maybe one of the things that you take pride in is just doing things the way that you usually do them. You know, you're someone that is very disciplined, someone that maybe you have your own routine, or you like to do things your way. And this marine life is kind of showing that one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by slowly venturing out into new things and inspiring yourself with these new perspectives and this new way of doing things. It's like you don't necessarily have to fully integrate them into your routine and into your life. It's just at least be aware that those are options, and be aware that those are things that you can do if your routine right now does, like, let's say it stops working, or it stops motivating you, or it stops like if it's not enough, then do know that there's other things out there for you. Let's see. We have Taurus energy. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, if you have like a routine of how you do things, this Taurus energy kind of just shows that, yeah, you probably are like a slow and steady type of person. You're an individual that you could be working in, since Taurus is ruled by Venus, you could be working in trying to create a stable home. You could be working in a career that brings you the economical stability that you're looking for. Taurus is connected to Venus, so maybe this could be related to any creative endeavor out there, or trying to just live a luxurious but comfortable life. There is this sense of, with Taurus, that I just thought of food, so maybe you're a chef or you're working on cooking good meals or something. That just came up randomly. So also with this Taurus energy, it kind of shows that one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by, okay, I'm gonna tell you that I always mention it when Taurus comes up. To me, Taurus is a very abundant sign because all the Taurus in my life are very good at just manifesting things. And one of the reasons why they're so good at manifesting it is because they're not afraid of receiving. They're not afraid of allowing the universe to bring that abundance into them. They're, Taurus is also the type of energy, or at least the ones in my life, that when they want something, they don't shame themselves for wanting it. There is a sense of like Taurus can, can be materialistic sounds so mean, but Taurus is not afraid of indulging in the material possession, on the physical things of life. So, eating good food, dressing nicely, living a comfortable life, getting money. Those things are things that Taurus does not mind having, and it's not afraid or ashamed of saying that they want it. So this Taurus energy just kind of shows that one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by just having this mentality that what you want is not wrong, and that there's nothing wrong with pursuing such a thing. I do feel, as long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone, it's fine. Just go for it. There's also this sense of like, one of the ways you can activate your abundance is by creating a routine, which I think you already do. So this is kind of showing that is just kind of confirming to you that is a good way of doing things. I do feel that you could be either very stubborn or very very steady with the things that you do, very consistent as well. Now, let's see what else we have here. We have new moon in Libra with a new romantic cycle begins. I'm kind of laughing a little bit because when I saw the Panther card, I thought about love and romance, of like, if there's someone you want to pursue, you're going full force. Like, this is the person that I want, and I'm going for it. But let's see what else we have. We have Void of Course Moon with nothing will come of this situation. So both of these cards put together, there is a sense of like, one of the things that you should keep in mind with your abundance is to stay balanced, to stay in harmony, to stay open-minded. And one of the reasons why I'm saying to stay open-minded is that when I was doing all like the group predictions in my channel at the beginning, all of January, when this card came up, a new meaning kind of got ingrained into this card, which was the whole idea of divine detours. And also that if things don't go as you planned, especially for you, Pile 1, that you seem to be someone that you have a routine or you have a set way of doing things, be aware that if something doesn't work in your favor or it doesn't go the way that you expected, don't think that it's not meant for you. Do know that it's just that sometimes you have to take a different path to get to where you want to be, or in this case, maybe even get who you want in life, right? So if you're pursuing someone or you're pursuing a goal in life, maybe you have a set plan of how you're going to achieve it or how you're going to get there. But this Void of Course Moon is telling you that sometimes you may have to take a detour from the path that you have or the plan that you've set for yourself. And that's sometimes necessary to either realign yourself, recenter yourself, or to just get to where you want in life. So either the plan that you have initially is not working in your favor, or maybe you need to take a bit of a detour so that you can come back with this new mentality and a fresh set of eyes in this plan that you had originally. So there's this sense of like, stay open-minded to adjusting your plan or changing things in your plan. So there is this sense, it kind of fits because of this marine life, or of like, life is not necessarily telling you that what you're doing right now is wrong, as much as it's telling you to be aware of other possibilities and other points of view, so like that you have those tools at your disposal for when you feel stagnant in the path that you're currently in. That's kind of like the main thing I'm getting right now. Also with the Libra energy, I do feel that there's a sense of like, you have two cards that talk about Venus. Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. So there's this sense of like, partnership could be very important in your abundance. So like bouncing off ideas from other people. And I'm getting the sense of like being gentle with yourself could also be very helpful, because I'm looking at that pink and that makes me think of being kind and understanding with yourself. So now let's look at your tarot. So how can pile 1 activate their abundance? So the first card that came out, we have the Page of Cups reverse. We have the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the Page of Pentacles. So whatever it is that you're doing, pile 1, you're definitely like at the beginning stages of it. So you're in the beginning stages of whatever it is that you want to do, because you have 2 pages right here. So the Page of Pentacles kind of shows that what you want to work on is something that is long lasting, something that's steady. It's like the promise of something that is meant to be, or like the promise of something that will flourish into something that is very stable. So you're working on having a very strong, set, and stable foundation. The Page of Pentacles, since you have Pentacles energy right here, I do feel that you may be working on your career in order to create stability. But I do feel that either if your goal is not only career, I do feel that your finances or your money or your career could be a small part for something even bigger that you desire or want in life. So this Page of Pentacles kind of shows that you're, one of the, because pages are supposed to be messengers, or like it's the beginning stage of a new chapter in your life. And Pentacles does talk about career, money, and your health. So I do feel that one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by just having a very clear set of goals and making sure that your intentions are well set as well. And I do feel that you're already kind of doing that. So it's just be aware that that is helping you. Be aware that it is beneficial. Especially because we have the Knight of Pentacles. It kind of shows that you are already going from stage 1 to stage 2, because court cards are supposed to kind of show how as individuals we're growing and maturing into whatever suit those court cards are in, and we go from pages, knights to queens, and then kings. And it's supposed to show like our maturity level, or our understanding of that suit. So in this case, it's like you already have set some of your intentions, and you're already moving from stage 1 to stage 2, going from a page to a knight. And that knight is supposed to represent how you're already ready to take action, because knights are mutable energy, which is in astrology the signs that are okay with change, the signs that are actively changing. And this Knight of Pentacles is Virgo energy, and that kind of shows that one of the best ways that you can activate your abundance is by creating a routine, is by organizing yourself, planning things out, and taking action on those plans. There is a sense of creating a daily routine, which again, it feels like you're already doing that. So if that's the case, it just kind of, this reading is kind of confirming to you that yes, what you're doing what you're doing right now is helping and is getting you closer to recognizing the abundance that you have in your life. I do have to say though that the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight, meaning that you are taking things one step at a time, baby steps, getting closer towards your goals. Now with the Page of Cups reversed, I do feel that this is something that you're working on, and that's why it's reversed. So again, pages are messengers in the beginning of a new chapter, and cups in this case are about emotions, creativity, and our intuition. So if anything, I think the thing that you need to work on that will definitely help you recognize and acknowledge your abundance is by working with this Panther energy. The things that you are kind of keeping lock under key, the things that you are afraid of. There's a sense of like trying to recognize those worries and those fears. If not, they will slowly kind of build up. And I do feel that you are a person or an individual that it kind of takes a lot to take you out of your center and reaching a breaking point. So let's try to avoid even reaching a breaking point, right? So this Page of Cups reverse is kind of showing that if you feel something, to allow that feeling to go through instead of just pushing it to the back of your head, the back of your mind. The Page of Cups also talks about someone that is very imaginative, someone that is very creative. It's supposed to symbolize someone that, to me, is able to visualize the type of future that they want in their life. So not only have you set good plans and good intentions, it is also time. One of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by imagining the future that you want, is by, you know, well, one of the things that you should make part of your routine is to start visualizing how your goals are already in your present life. It's like this whole, like, is it, I think it's called the law of assumption, which is the whole idea of just assuming that what you want is already part of your life as a way of manifesting those things into your life. It's like maybe that's the, like, one of the things that you can do, or one of the things that you can practice in order to feel like you're abundant or feel like your goals are coming true. But let's take a bit more tarot. So how can pile 1 activate their abundance? Perfect. I wanted 3 cards. Perfect. So the cards that we have are the Queen of Swords reverse, the 9 of Pentacles reverse, and the 3 of Pentacles reverse. There's a lot here about making money and stability. So you know how the last thing that I just mentioned with the Page of Cups was this whole idea of recognizing your emotions? At some point I mentioned that. Well, the Queen of Swords reverse tells me that one of the things that you should also work on is communicating those emotions with yourself. Like, don't completely close yourself off. Don't be like, you know, have a cool mind to be able to think clearly. And one of the ways that you can think clearly as well is like, pay attention to your heart and to your emotions, so that you are aware of the things that you like and the things that you don't like. I do feel that by doing that, you will be able to avoid burnout, because you will be able to slow down when you are working. There's this sense of like, you create a routine, or you create this like way of doing things in such a way that sometimes you kind of do, maybe you ignore your health, or maybe you ignore your body. And I do feel that one of the best advice to activate your abundance here is to not ignore those things. So like that, you don't suffer of burnout, you don't exhaust yourself, you don't create this point of like working so hard that then you need to rest a lot, because that will slow you down even more, because now you have to add to your plan's recovery. If that makes sense. Also, the Queen of Swords makes me think that you need to be very honest with yourself. So whatever, one of the reasons why you're not able to see your abundance, or you feel, or maybe you don't feel super abundant, is because you don't admit to yourself that you already have it. And one of the reasons why you may not admit it to yourself is because you are not communicating with yourself. There's this sense of like being able to, okay, because look, the Queen of Swords is Aquarius energy, and Aquarius is a very rebellious a very rebellious sign. It is a sign that likes to break from conventions, likes to break from limitations, and also Aquarius is a very communitarian sign. So I know that people usually think that Aquariuses are emotionless, and that's because Aquariuses are very good at being detached. They're not unlike water signs, Aquarius is not very good. If you don't know about astrology, Aquarius is not a water sign, it's an air sign. Just letting you know. But Aquarius is, unlike water signs, it doesn't need to have like a heart-to-heart relationship with people. They're okay with just having what some people may consider superficial relationships. And that's because Aquarius is not like a one-to-one person. Aquarius is more about like the collective and the group. And I do feel like there's something here about group work, because you have the 3 of Pentacles reverse, which also talks about teamwork. So there's a sense of like, one of the ways that you can connect to your abundance or activate it is if you work with other people. But don't let those people like distract you or take you off your center, but do learn how to work with others and with other ideas outside of your own. There's a sense of like being open-minded with this Queen of Swords reverse. Every reversal that I see here makes me think of something that you are working on, or something that you should work on. the Queen of Swords with this Aquarius energy also makes me think that by thinking of what other people do, maybe conventional or not, will also help you activate your abundance. Again, this whole idea of having new perspectives as like little tools that you can use, take out whenever you feel like you're not moving forward with your own routine. Also, the Three of Pentacles here is about teamwork. It's like different people that are using their expertise to work together in accomplishing a goal, a common goal or a project. So there's this idea of like, if you work with other people that are experts in their field or they're just very good at what they do, by just getting their ideas and their input, it will inspire you and influence you to be a step closer to achieving your own goals. So there's also this sense of like, one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by working with other people and allowing them to do what they're good at. It's kind of like, if you need like a financial advisor, do your research so you get one that is compatible with you and your goal, and then allow, surrender to them the power to do what they are good at and what they are an expert in. There's this sense of like surrendering a little bit of your energy to those that will know how to manage it a bit better, since they're experts in those fields, or that's what their job is. There's a sense of like, maybe you may be an individual that kind of just puts it upon themselves to do everything in order to achieve their goals. And I do feel that one of the bit of advice that you're getting here is to allow others to just do their job and just trust that they will help you be a step closer to where you want to be. And one of the reasons why I said a financial advisor was because of the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles upright usually talks about someone that is financially stable and independent, someone that is financially free, someone that knows how to work with their money, with their career, someone that is healing. And I do feel that one of the reasons why this one's reversed is because that's what you're working through. You're working on healing yourself, you're working on creating the stability and abundance that it seems like that's what you're aiming for here. Either financial stability or having the job of your dreams, having a stable income, or having a career where you are happy with, and one that you've been like aiming towards achieving or becoming part of or into. And I'm saying that because if like there's a job or a specific company that you want to be in, is like that's where you're trying to integrate yourself into. So yeah, this Nine of Pentacles reverse is kind of just showing that you're still working towards creating this stability for yourself, but this stability is coming like outside of you, because I do feel that you as a person, you're doing very well. Even your process of achieving your goal is very good. So this Nine of Pentacles reverse is just kind of showing that that's like what you're aiming for and that's your goal. Or in order to achieve your goal, be aware that you may have to do some shadow work and some inner healing. Especially because your doubts and your worries do stem from a sense of insecurity or like a trigger that you are like a wound within you. And I do feel that if you pay attention to it, at least you will be aware that if you feel stagnant or you feel like you can't do something, it's because that's just something that you're working through. So what am I getting at? Is like, let's say you're working in a career, and maybe one of your fears or one of the things that you kind of struggle with is communicating with people. So be aware that that's something that you struggle with. So like that, when you encounter a situation where you have to communicate with someone, you are aware and you can prepare yourself, because you will have to put more time and effort into doing something like that to other people could come off very easy. So that's why I'm telling you here, pile 1, that one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by acknowledging your weaknesses and your shortcomings, as well as your fears and your doubts. Like, do not just put them in the back of your mind, because if you do, then when you encounter an obstacle, you may be looking in the wrong direction. You may be like, oh, why can't I do this? Why is this obstacle in the way? And it's just simply because you may have not admitted to yourself that there's some fears here. So I do feel that if anything, if we take all of these cards into consideration, the best way you can activate your abundance, because you're in a good place, pile 1, you really are. You already have the discipline, the routine that works for you. you are very confident, you even know what your goal is. So the only thing, if there's anything that you need to like work on here, is like the best way that you can activate your abundance is by acknowledging your fears, your shortcomings, your weaknesses, the things that trigger you or the things that put your guard up. Connect to your emotions and your intuition, because that's the divine detour that you need to take occasionally as you're working towards your goal. It's like there will be times that you will have to either slow down or just take a break, so like that you can analyze and understand these fears that may surface once in a while. And by doing that, it will make it easier, because either you work through it, and by understanding them, whenever you encounter a situation that triggers those fears or those doubts, you will be able to be like, I understand that this is something that I need to work on. And then you're able to create courage, because courage is being able to understand those emotions and working with them instead of ignoring them, right? It's like you will be courageously moving forward despite these fears and these doubts, because you're able to understand that it's normal, it's okay. And by also understanding them, you will probably have figured out a way to work with it rather than against it. So yeah. So pile 1, I hope this resonates. I hope that it's helpful. And I will see you in the next one, because I do next month, in the beginning of spring. So when Aries season starts, which is like around March 19th or March 20th, along those days, I will have to check later, I would like to do a reading that will continue helping you with your manifestations. So I hope I see you in that pick a card, if I do it, or when it happens. And maybe that pick a card can be like a little bit of like a checking point to see where you're at with your manifestations. But for now, be aware that you are abundant and what you're doing is good. It is okay. And I hope that you're able to recognize that you will be able to achieve your goals and your dreams. And also, I hope that I was able to give you a little bit of advice of how you can continue moving forward in a healthy, steady, but constant way. So, pile 1, thank you so much for all your love and support. I hope that you find this entertaining, or at least that you learn from it. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll see you on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye. Hello, pile 2. For those of you that pick the beginner tarot kit tarot, this is your reading. So to start off, we will leave the tarot for a little bit later, and let's start off with your oracle. So the first card that I'm going to take out will be the card that represents you. So let's see, we have the Sea Serpent. So when I was like taking out the cards for your reading, well, for this reading, and I was taking from the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck, a bunch of cards came out for pile 2. So either a lot of people are going to pick pile 2, or there's a lot of energies, a lot of like different personalities going on here for whoever ends up picking pile 2. But the Sea Serpent was the one that ended up coming on top, and this kind of shows that right now with your abundance, you have a spirit card, and this is connected to the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra talks about someone that is working with their desires, with what brings them pleasure, with what brings them happiness, their drive, their motivation. There's this sense of one of the chakras that you may want to connect to activate your abundance is your sacral chakra. So you're doing things that make you happy. You're doing things that motivate you and inspire you. Things that bring like this warmth of stability. There's something along those lines. But now to the Sea Serpent. The Sea Serpent talks about healing with water. So one of the ways that you can, I find it very funny, because I'm already talking about the ways that you can activate your abundance, even though this card is supposed to represent you. So I'll say it anyway. So one of the ways you can activate your abundance is by maybe having a salt bath, or just staying close to water. So maybe going to the lake, going to the beach, going to a river, and like listening to it. Maybe when it rains or when you shower, or again when you take a bath. Being connected to water will help you activate your abundance or connecting to your abundance. There is also this sense of like even like a humidifier or like a little fountain or like noises like that, like trickling and dripping, stuff like that. Like those things can help you connect to your abundance. So feel free to take my advice on that if you feel called out to do that. But the sea serpent tells me that you're a person who is very intuitive. You're a person that has a very good eye, and your third eye is open, so you have a lot of clarity. You're able to see the truth. Maybe you're very good at connecting to your spiritual team, and you already have like your method to communicate with them. There's a sense of like abundance. I'm getting like signs of the water dragon, which if I remember correctly, the water dragon was 12 years ago, so in 2012. So maybe that year could be important to you somehow. Yeah, I think that it was a water dragon. Because this year we are in the wood dragon, the year of the wooden dragon, I think. So I don't know, those things could be important. Maybe Chinese astrology could be significant. Which I mean, I myself do not know how it works that well. So yeah. Also, if we continue with that, I do feel that Jupiter and Gemini could be important. It came up because my Jupiter's in Gemini, so maybe it could be significant to you guys. But yeah, it seems like the type of individual that you are is one that is usually very calm, very serene. I feel like I just said that for someone. Oh, I said it for my patron reading. I just recorded a reading for someone there, and I mentioned those words. So, if my patron picked this pile, I'm not surprised. Anyway, so there is also, I'm getting this idea of you're someone that is very creative. You have an abundance of ideas. You have stories to tell. That's words that just came to my mind as well. So pile 2, I am intrigued. Let's see what else your oracle cards have to say. We have eyes with purity. We have Neptune. You know what? I am not surprised that Neptune came up. I am not surprised. Colored me, not surprised. Now, I'm not surprised that Neptune came up because I'm feeling a lot of water here. We have New Moon in Pisces with Meditate and Contemplate. I'm going to put it right here because Neptune is right there. And we have a New Moon in Capricorn with Your Hard Work is Paying Off. Pile number 2. I am so excited to see your oracle cards. It makes me so happy to look at them. And yeah, I'm okay. Pile 2. I have a confession to make. One, if there is anyone, like any spirit that I work with, is Neptune. I find it very difficult to work like with gods and goddesses. That's something that doesn't really come too naturally to me. However, I do feel a bit more comfortable working with the energy of planets, if that makes sense. Which I find funny because if I'm correct, Neptune is basically I don't know how they say it in English, but Poseidon is how they say it in Spanish. Anyway, so you know, what is he? The god of water? God of waves, of oceans? Big brain fart. But I prefer to connect just to the energy of what Neptune usually talks about in astrology. So I decided to just make it my goal to work with Neptune. I'm thinking more about the planet rather than like the Roman or Greek god of it. But yeah, I'm mentioning that because one of the, you know, I always send like a little prayer every morning or when I remember, so that I can like keep that connection strong. But it is funny because before starting this reading, I did like a whole little prayer asking for the messages to resonate to the people that it has to resonate to make sure that my purpose will go through with this reading, and also to make sure that everyone stays safe and protected within the realms of this reading. And lastly, to make sure that people that come here filled with creativity and inspiration continue with that, and anyone that ends up stumbling upon this reading will immediately feel inspired so that when they watch this video, it just continues bringing them all this positive energy. So I'm mentioning all of that because I do feel that this is one of the ways that you can activate your abundance, or like recognize it, is by connecting to your spirituality into your spiritual team. I do feel, as I mentioned earlier, many of you probably already have a concrete way of connecting to them. And I do feel that here, if you already do that, this is a confirmation that that is helping you, and it is something that you should probably continue working on. Now let's look at the cards that you have right here. So the ice and purity kind of shows that one of the best ways, okay, pile number 2, there's a high chance that you need to constantly cleanse your energy, because we have the ice here and then we have the new moon in Pisces. That makes me think that you need to constantly protect your dreams and your goals. Why is that? I'm not too sure, but there's a high chance that you just need to constantly do it. There's this sense of like you need to maintain yourself in balance. You need to continue staying in harmony. There's this sense of like you, pile number 2, may need to put a little bit more, an extra effort than other people in maintaining your vibration high, cleansing your energy. Either you're sensitive to your environment and the people around you, so you need to kind of continuously cleanse your energy, your space, so like that you don't get distracted, or your mood doesn't go down or doesn't suffer somehow. There's this sense of like you sometimes probably need a lot of time alone. So maybe one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by when you are on your own, or when you're in your meditative like space or mind. Take full advantage of that to stabilize yourself and recenter your energy, to be in alignment once again. I'm getting this sense of like you're able to see the bigger picture constantly. There's a sense of like even when you're in your present moment, you're able to feel the past and the future simultaneously as it's moving. I'm starting to feel like pile 2 was my pile. I have another confession to make, pile 2. So one of the reasons why, as I was like taking out cards in the intro, I mentioned that I took out cards to get a better idea of how I was gonna make this reading, like what we will focus on and all of those things. One of the things that I noticed was that when I feel like all of a sudden, as I'm just going on my day and I feel very, calm, I'm not thinking much of anything, I will get this sudden feeling of like anger or sadness. And one of the realizations that I had yesterday as I was preparing for this reading, and I knew I was going to have to share this with someone. I thought I was going to do it in the intro, but I ended up doing it for your pile. So this could be significant for you. So maybe you have felt something like this as well. Like you're going on your normal day and nothing, not even your own thoughts could have triggered this sadness or could have triggered this anger. And one of the realizations that I had yesterday was that the reason why those emotions could come to me randomly could be because in a subconscious level, I'm feeling the changes of time. And one of the reasons why I'm saying this is because one of the cards that came up, it was from the Wisdom Oracle. That's the name of the Oracle. And the card that I got was Milk and Honey reversed. And when I was reading the protection message, I think, yeah, that's what it's called, of that card, there was one line that triggered this realization or this epiphany. And that was the whole idea of like, you may feel sad of leaving your normal state right now, but do know that change will bring satisfaction into your life. So pile number 2, one of the ways that you can recognize your abundance is by knowing that even if at the state that you are right now, you may feel a bit stagnant, or you may feel that you're going in this low and steady way of doing your things, do know that those signs of like randomly feeling sad or randomly feeling angry are because behind the scenes things are happening and things are working, especially because you have right here with the new moon in Capricorn, with your work is paying off. There's this sense of like maybe you have fallen into this routine and you may have started to doubt if what you're doing is actually getting you closer to your goals or to your dreams. Do know that they are. There's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that you're not aware of. So so here I'm just trying to confirm to you that things are happening, things are moving, even if you, your present physical self, don't feel like things are moving, okay? Also, I feel that I had to tell you all of this because the epiphany that I had was basically that in a subconscious level, since things are moving and since behind the scenes things are moving and changing, in a subconscious level you're able to feel it. You know when things are happening. So maybe when you feel sadness, is the whole idea of like shedding old skin, getting rid of things that are not meant for you anymore. It's like when you have outgrown your space, you kind of have to go through this moment of mourning and grieving and kind of like saying goodbye to what you're used to. And then slowly you're entering into all of this new energy and towards change in a way that will bring satisfaction, but it could be a bit intimidating and scary, right? So I do feel that that's where this sadness and anger that randomly came to me is kind of showing. It's like this whole idea of like in a subconscious level, I'm already grieving something that I will have to leave behind in order to enter this change in my life. And that's why I'm saying all of this because pile 2, I feel that you're in a similar situation where you're able to, in a subconscious level or an intuitive level, feel how change is happening. But since you don't see it in your present state, you may feel some sort of disconnect where you know things are changing, you know things are happening, but since physically you're not seeing things changing or moving, you may feel one of two ways. You may feel like maybe you're imagining the abundance that you know you have at your disposal, or you may feel a bit of a disconnect because you are able to, in the spiritual way, feel this abundance, but it's all kind of happening at once. And by this I mean how challenging it is to wrap our head around time and space. If we don't feel space, it's hard to understand. And time, we usually just see it linearly as humans. So I do feel that when you start going up into your spiritual natural state, since the Sea of Serpent was the way that you are being represented in your reading, that's when you start feeling everything happen at once. You know, the whole idea of like the future, the present, and the past are all happening simultaneously. Like you're jumping around. And I do feel that can confuse your physical body. And because of that, I do feel that that's why you may oversee the abundance that you know you have. I do feel that you know you have it. You are aware that it's there. But then you find it very challenging to either like believe in it, trust it, or recognize it. Pile 2. I think that's kind of like what you're working through right now. But this Capricorn energy is telling you to be aware that everything that you're doing right now is paying off. You will be rewarded, or you are already being rewarded, but it may be happening behind the scenes, and that's why you may not see it or recognize it. It's like right now your foundation is strong. The soil that you're working to like plant the seed of your goals and dreams, your abundance is definitely there. It's stable. It's just that maybe you're not fully aware of how to work with it, which is like the whole point of this reading. So we'll get onto your tarot cards to answer the question. How can pile 2 activate their abundance? So one of the ways that we already talked about was this whole idea of meditating and cleansing your energy. The first card we have is the 9 of Wands. We have the 7 of Cups reversed. I want to take all your tarot cards out right now. So let's do that. We have the 5 of Coins reversed, the Hangman. I was going to say reversed, but it's upright. The Page of Cups, and one more card. Oh, perfect. The Queen of Pentacles reverse. That's perfect. So the way that you can connect to your abundance, or like recognize your abundance, with a 9 of Wands, there's a sense of like putting your walls down. It's like whenever you feel like giving up, or whenever you feel triggered somehow, the courage that you get to overcome that will give you a little bit of insight of your abundance. It's like do know that your abundance is your ability to heal, your ability to grow, and your ability to not give up. Those words are coming up, so please take them in the most encouraging way possible. Like, I'm not saying anything wrong, as much as like it's so intangible, the type of abundance that you have. I mean, I think abundance in general is something, it's just like a concept and an idea. It's not something super tangible. But I do feel that the realm that you're working in, Pile 2, is one that only you understand. Well, in a way, right? Like, it's going to be super unique to you as an individual. That's for sure. But the Nine of Wands is kind of showing that one of the best ways that you can get in tune with your abundance is if you put your walls down. I do feel that you may have had to protect yourself constantly and cleanse your energy so much that you've reached a point where you set your boundaries very strongly. But I do feel that the universe is telling you to, yes, learn how to protect yourself, learn how to cleanse your energy, but you still need to put your walls down. There's a sense of like you're very intuitive and very sensitive to either people or your environment, but the universe is still telling you to put your walls down so they can communicate with you and help you see your abundance. But there's this sense of like do not give up on your sensitivity, or do not give up with your intuition, in your compassion. Those words are coming up. So maybe you've been put in a situation where you don't trust people, or you've been very discouraged by people and situations. But the universe is kind of telling you to have the courage to open up your heart again. Something along those lines. I don't know. I'm just saying words here, and I know it's going to make sense to someone. Now, the other card that we have right here is the Seven of Cups reversed. There's this sense of like knowing what your options are, but don't feel overwhelmed by them. It's like just because you have options and different paths you can take, do not feel obligated to consider them, but don't feel obligated to take all of those options in, if that makes sense. There's a sense of like, just because it's a possibility, it's not a possibility that you have to take, if that makes sense. It's like, do not be overwhelmed by the abundance of choice. So pile number 2, I'm getting that you are very talented, you're very gifted, or you learn very quickly. So whatever it is that you want to do, you will succeed in it. And I do feel that to some people, this can be very relieving, because it's like, oh, you are not stuck to one path or something, right? But at the same time, I do feel that for you guys, it can be very overwhelming, the freedom of choice. Because now you have to figure out what your intentions are. You have to figure out what you want to prioritize, what your goals are. And I do feel that since that's a bit overwhelming, because it's like what you desire and what you want is not tangible, or what you desire and what you want can be obtained in multiple ways. And because of that, it's kind of hard to just focus your energy on one thing. We have Neptune right here, so things are going to be confusing. Things are going to be a bit muddy. You're working in a realm that is going to be complicated and hard to understand, because Neptune can bring a lot of confusing energy. And Pisces is a very fluid, free-flowing energy. However, you do have Capricorn energy right here on the table, which shows that you do have the ability to set a strong foundation, work hard towards your goals without giving up. So even if there's a lot of confusion here and there's a lot of fluidity and freedom, there is this energy of that. There's this energy of there's stability that can be brought here. So the Seven of Cups reverse is kind of saying that one of the ways that you can recognize your abundance or get in tune with it is that do know that what overwhelms you right now is a sign of abundance. The ability that you have of freedom of choice, the ability of an open ending were the words that came up, those are signs of your infinite abundance. Right? One of the images that I'm getting is like the vast sea out there, big ocean, and how it is rich with life and life. Wait, bro, that you said that. Is rich with life. And it's a sign of abundance. But all of that power that you have, all of the abundance at your disposal is so grand that it can be overwhelming. So right now you may feel the overwhelming part of it, but do know that the reason why that is because of the big abundance that is available for you. And it's at your fingertips. It's like you have so much of a good thing that you don't know what to do with it. It's not bad. It's just overwhelming. And the pushback that you're feeling right now is the overwhelming part of it. Not because there's no abundance, not because you're stagnant or stuck, but because you're learning how to work with it and what you're going to shape this ocean into. That's like the words that are coming up. And this is leading me to this Five of Pentacles. So remember how I mentioned that this overwhelming feeling could have made you feel stagnant? Well, this overwhelming feeling could have also made you feel that you were left to fend for yourself. It's like you have your spiritual team, you work with them, and your spiritual team is staying quiet. The reason why they're staying quiet is because they don't want to influence your choice. Your abundance is your power of choice. Your free will and freedom. Right now, your spiritual team wants you to exercise your free will. They want you to learn the power of choice. They want you to recognize your own power and how this vast sea and abundance that you have available can only be managed by someone that knows their own power. Your power as the creator of your own life, which we're going to get to in the Page of Cups. So one of the ways that you can get in tune with your abundance and recognize it is by recognizing yourself, recognizing your own power. And right now you may feel stagnant. You may feel like you were left out in the cold by your spiritual team because you're so in tune and so intuitive, but you may feel like you're not really getting answers as to how you can move forward. And the reason being is because they want you to make your own choices. They want you to recognize that there is power in your decisions. So this Five of Pentacles reverse is kind of showing that when you recognize that aspect of yourself, you will not feel like you're lacking anymore. You will be able to get in tune with the abundance that you have. And one of the ways that you can do this as well is with a Hangman reverse. So the Hangman talks about someone that willingly puts themselves in this position, and being upside down, in order to get this new point of view, this new perspective. It's like the universe is telling you to either slow down a little bit in order to see the space around you, being able to meet new things and new ideas. Now, I'm saying it that way because I thought the word choice of meeting those ideas was kind of interesting, right? But yeah, the universe wants you to introduce yourself to all of this newness and venturing out into getting these new points of view and these new perspectives. So like that, you're able to see the infinite abundance that you have. And the only way that you will be able to recognize all of this abundance is by introducing your physical vessel into these new ideas and these new experiences and new way of living life, so that you're able to recognize your ability to not only adapt, but also succeed in life, if that makes sense. Also, so that you're able to, so that when Spirit gives you messages, you're able to recognize them even better because now you have more knowledge. And by having that knowledge, Spirit might be able to lead you down the path that will give you the messages that you so desire or you wish to get. So this Hangman is also Neptune energy, by the way, so very big water vibes in your reading. But now let's get to this Page of Cups. So I mentioned how the power of creation and how you are the creator of your life, right? So understand the power and the importance that you have within your own life, right? But the Page of Cups usually talks about someone that is creative, someone that has a big imagination, and pages are a new beginning. So this kind of shows that one of the ways that you can connect to your abundance is by not only connecting spiritually, not only working with your emotions, but visualizing what you want in life. It's like one of the techniques that I'm getting here is like when you're in a meditative state, maybe not fully going on a meditation, but when you are thinking, daydreaming, or in a meditative state, as I said earlier, you're going to start visualizing the type of future that you desire. And that is one of the ways that you can, in a way, start brainstorming how you want to use your abundance. Right? It's like water, I heard this once, I don't know where though, but like water can take the form of anything you put it in. So that shows the flexibility that you have, and that also shows the freedom that you have when you are shaping the future in your life. So the story that, or like the metaphor or visuals that I'm getting right now is the whole idea of whatever goal you want to pursue in your life is the mold that you're creating. And the material that you're going to create this goal with is water. And water is able to take the form of this mold perfectly and fill it up in such a way that it kind of shows like the material that you're working with to create whatever goal you have in mind is very abundant, flexible, and free-flowing, which is water. Like, I hope it makes sense, but like, whatever goal you have, do know that the material that you're working with is not an easy material to work with. It's, you know, when you hold onto it, it runs. What am I getting? It's like the image of like when you have water and it just kind of runs and slips through your fingers, right? It's something that you can't really hold on to. I'm also getting like the image of a tsunami. So I'm getting this whole idea of like water has power, you know. Also, I'm getting the whole idea of like droplets and how they slowly build up into bigger bodies of water. And also, I'm getting the image of how water droplets attract to each other. I'm thinking of hydrogen and oxygen bonds for whatever reason. So there's this sense of even, you know, the material that you're working with is very abundant because it is super flexible, is very malleable. And also there's this sense of like it's a very strong material that you're working with. It is a material that can imitate or can fill in even the smallest of details, as well as like, it's a material that knows how to work well together. Those are words that are just coming up in my mind. So I hope those words are able to express to you the type of abundance that you have with you, pile 2. It is a type of abundance that can create everything out of nothing. It may seem that way, but yes. Lastly, the way to connect to your abundance is this Queen of Pentacles. Now, we've been talking about all of these things that may seem a little bit off the rails, a little bit off the physical realm. So now let's talk about something that you can actually do in the 3D way, something that you can work with your physical vessel. So, the Queen of Pentacles is supposed to represent an individual that is so abundant that they're able to share that abundance with the people around them. It is someone that is stable, someone that has a strong foundation, someone that is secure. They have secure money, secure career, good health. That is the Queen of Pentacles. Not to mention that the Queen of Pentacles is extremely generous and loves to give to others and help others. And the way that the Queen of Pentacles usually helps is by sharing her overflowing abundance. And I do feel that that's something that you can do, pile 2. However, with this Queen of Pentacles in reverse, it's like instead of giving that energy to other people at the moment, it is better for you to take that overwhelming abundance and take it internally within you. There is a sense like whatever security and safety and strong foundation you have, please prioritize yourself. Right now, the goal is you and you only. Why is that? Because you are the bridge or the channel between the abundance available to you and the 3D world that you live in. There is this sense of like you do need a very strong vessel to be able to translate this big power into something tangible that can be used in the 3D world that we live in, which is Earth, right? So I do feel that one of the best ways that you can connect to your abundance is by making sure that you yourself are doing okay. So take care of your physical body by eating well, exercising, so like that you're able to have the strength and the energy to not only channel these messages that you get, since you do have a very strong connection to spirit, but at the same time, so your body is ready to take action in whichever way, shape, or form is necessary when the timing is also right, if it's even when it's needed for your actions to take off. So let's say that you have to talk to someone or you have to complete a project, but it takes energy. It takes, you are still in a physical body that you have to take care of. So I do feel that this Queen of Pentacles reverse is saying to take care of your health and your physical body, so that you always have the spiritual energy and the spiritual creativity to do what you want to do and to be able to manifest what you want to manifest. There's also this sense of like, by taking care of your survival needs, you will have more time to think and feel in a comfortable way. So instead of feeling anxiety, fear, or doubts because of any worries, since your body's not being taken care of, is like, the moment you take care of it, you don't have to worry about those things. So now you have the freedom to just be in a creative state. So like that, instead of spending your energy, like one of the things that I'm getting is like when you sleep well, then your body doesn't have to spend its energy trying to keep your body awake, and it can actually spend that energy just doing what you want to do, right? Like there's also this sense of like, sometimes there's creative projects that you want to work on, but you can't really work on it because you are worried about the material things that you have to take care of. So there's a sense of like, make sure that you take care of those things. Of course, always leave time for creativity, but make sure that you take care of your 3D space. I do feel that one of the things that you can suffer from, pile number 2, is staying too long in the spiritual realm. And even though there's nothing wrong with that, is that do be aware that you still have a physical body you have to take care of. So please take care of it, right? And the other thing that I'm getting with this Queen of Pentacles is like, prioritize yourself in such a way that don't give your energy away to other people. Like, do put your walls up if other people are trying to have access to your energy, your time, and your space. So yeah, pile 2, I hope that made sense. I hope I was able to give you a little bit more of a concrete way that you can connect to your spirituality. Like, I do feel it's very beneficial that you take care of yourself and, take care of your health, take care of your time and your space. But of course, meditating will be very good, as well as connecting to water, being near water, or listening to water. So, one of the first songs that kind of came to my mind when I was reading the cards here was a Red Velvet song, which is Underwater, is one of their side tracks. And the other song was Wendy's solo song, Like Water. So you may be a Rebel Love, and if not, feel free to listen to those songs, because those songs could be significant as well, pile 2. Anyway, I hope this reading resonates. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned from it, or at least found it entertaining. I will see you on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. And before you go, I do want to mention that I do want to make another pick a card reading sometime in March. Maybe in the beginning of spring, so at the start of Aries season, because I want to, in that reading, give you more tools to work with this abundance, which I do feel could be very beneficial for you, pile 2, who I mentioned you have the material that you're working with is water, if that makes sense. So I hope that I can make that, if I don't forget, I hope I do that reading, and I hope I see you guys there, because it will be very nice to see like what you can do with this abundance the moment you recognize it. That kind of vibe. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye. Hello, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So for those of you that picked the Santa Muerte tarot, this is your reading on how you can activate your abundance. So before we jump into the tarot, let's actually get into the oracle cards that we have right in front of us. With the first oracle that we're going to look at will be the card that will represent you, which would have the shark, and this is a water element with a triangle pointing down. And the only color that we see so far is red, so that tells me that you have a very strong and stable root chakra. So the root chakra talks about grounding, it talks about stability, it talks about having your feet firmly planted on the ground. There's this also, the shark is like an apex predator in the water element, meaning that you are on the top of your game. You are okay. You're not like maybe super actively going after your dreams, but the moment you see it, you'll snatch it. Those were the words that came up. It's like the moment you recognize your goal, or the moment you have the right timing to pursue your goal, you'll go for it, pile 3. There is this sense as well as you're like a very silent but deadly type of energy, meaning that you are slowly creeping in closer and closer towards your goal. You're like taking like baby steps very discreetly towards whatever it is that you want to do. There is also this sense of like you are always indirectly getting a step closer towards those goals as well. Also, the other thing that I'm getting is that you randomly stumble upon your goals. Like, I think that you are not, like, even when you're actively pursuing your goal, you feel like you just randomly are in the right time and place. The other thing also that I'm getting, pile 3, is that you're the type of people that are not afraid of venturing into the unknown in such a way that you do not fear just trying new things and just going with the flow and entering a journey. There's a sense like you trust wholeheartedly who you are, the way that you work, and the tools at your disposal. Like, you just know that when you enter something new, you will manage somehow. Like, you either have the right preparation or you just know that you'll survive. Now let's look at your oracles. So we have animals with companionship. So maybe you have a pet that, you know, you have a little pet or something that brings you a lot of comfort and happiness. Maybe people as well. Maybe your spirit guides communicate with you through small pets, small animals. Or when you watch videos of animal behavior, it really inspires you somehow. Like, it's kind of, you know what I got? I don't know the name of the anime. I think it's something along those lines of like a villain's day off or something like that. I haven't seen it myself, but I have seen clips. I've seen clips of it like on my like social media, and I find it so funny just to see how much she loves pandas. It's just like sometimes it'd be like that, honestly. But what I'm getting with that is that I do feel that also I think he's like an alien. So he sees humans as like a creature and that he's kind of like just learning about them. So I do feel that that's something that could help you activate your abundance, is like by seeing how others, or in this case even how animals behave and how they live their lives, or like what they do, it could inspire you to also figure out a new point of view or a new perspective on how to live your own life, which in exchange will help you get in tune with your abundance. It's like this sense of like one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by staying open-minded and by being connected to people, situations, or even in this case animals that bring you security and happiness. You know what I'm getting is like one of the ways that you may be able to activate your abundance is like if you watch animal behavior or something, you may be like, man, that really is how humans are. And that can actually, that correlation can definitely help you be like, oh, you know what? Maybe we're not all that different. Or maybe this is a way that I can just live my life with, you know, just kind of vibe and just live life for what it is. Something along those lines. Like a sense of like letting go of overthinking in a way. Also, I'm not gonna lie, the woman right here makes me think of Frida Kahlo. So there's this sense of one of the ways that you can activate your abundance is by looking deep within yourself. How you view yourself is important, because Frida Kahlo was known for surrealism. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, surrealistic like art, and she did a lot of self-portraits. And I think she started after having an accident. She started painting, and well, the only thing that she could see was herself through a mirror. So I do feel that one of the best ways that you can activate to your abundance is by having this long self-reflection, getting to know yourself, understanding how you work, how you function. And I do feel that the people or the situations surrounding you will reflect and mirror how you are as a person, which in exchange will also help you connect to your abundance. Because I do feel that just seeing the metaphors that you connect with yourself and seeing the things that you relate to you will help you get a better understanding of who you are. And what I'm getting at here is that, for example, if you like a little plushie, or you like the hobbies that you have or the shows that you watch, what do they say about you? And I do feel that that will give you a better insight of who you are, and that will get you a step closer to your abundance. But let's look at your other oracle cards. We have Saturn. We have Disseminating Moon with Take Time to Breathe Out. And we have New Moon with A New Start is Coming. I do feel that for you guys, for you pile 3, there's this high chance that the way that you can activate your abundance is through time and space. It's not something that you can actively go after as much as it's always around you, and timing is essential for you pile 3. So the type of abundance that you will connect to is one that will help you with this new chapter in your life, with this new beginning. It is you, like, I do feel with Saturn as well, I do feel that you're the type of person that closes cycles and chapters in your life, meaning that when, even if it's a person or a situation, you do put like a little bow around it and say, this is the end of it, now let's go on to something new, let's start something new. And that type of mentality kind of shows that that's when you go through that, that's when you're the most abundant, or the best way that you can connect with your abundance. Because it's kind of like the moment you close something off, now you are open-minded enough or welcoming enough to receive all of this new energy in, and by doing that you are working with abundance, because it's kind of like, okay, so what are my options, what do I want to do, what is at my disposal, what new tools or situations are available for me, and that is a form of abundance. I do feel that one of the best way you can activate it is like the moment you close cycles and you yourself put it very presently, like, this is the end of this chapter, now I'm going to start something new. So what is available for me? What are the opportunities? What are my choices? And I think that's one of the best ways that you can activate your abundance, or recognize it in this case. But the best way that you can also connect to your abundance is by taking time to relax. Okay, Saturn is a planet of time, and I'm thinking of Metatron, which is, I think, an angel of time as well. So I do feel that those things could be important for you, pile 3. There's also this whole idea of like the best way to connect to your abundance is when you're relaxing and taking a break, because you're able to finally look at it or recognize it or give it a time of day. There's also this sense of just when you're just chilling, you are able to connect with it because you're able to visualize it, you're able to acknowledge it, you're able to finally be like, okay, so what am I going to do with this abundance? If that makes sense. It's like you finally make time for it. So the best way for you guys, pile 3, is to make time to think of abundance. It may sound a bit like that's it, but yeah, that's kind of it. I do feel like with you guys, timing is very important, and the best control you have about time is how you view it and what you do with it. And I do feel that when you end a cycle, that transition period between the end of one and the beginning of a new one is where you are the most abundant, and because of that you will be able to recognize it even more, because the ability that you have to say, that you have of saying, what are my options, what am I going to do, what is my next goal or my next project, that is abundance itself. And I do feel that when you start recognizing that feeling and almost like saving that in your essence, in your person, that's when you will be able to like consciously get in tune with that side of yourself. But now let's get into your tarot to just get more information about how you can activate your abundance. So the first card that we have is the World reversed. Another card about timing, and this is also Saturn. The World represents Saturn. So how can pile 3 activate their abundance? We have the Queen of Swords. How can pile 3 connect to their abundance? We have the 8 of Wands reversed. So yeah, definitely taking a break. We have the 3 of Pentacles reverse and the Devil reverse. And I want one more card. And we have the Page of Pentacles reverse. And we have the Empress reverse in the bottom of your deck. So, pile number 3, how can you activate your abundance? So there's a lot of work that you have to do with yourself. And one of the first things that you have to do is just slow down. So I wonder how quickly you're going after your goals or after your dreams. I didn't mention that when the timing was right, you just jump right into it. So I do feel that there's a sense of like maybe being a bit impulsive. But I do feel that before you can take like the moment to attack or the moment to proactively go after your goals in your dreams, I do feel that there's a lot of prep work that goes before that. And these cards right here are telling me that the prep work is your form of abundance. It's like you don't recognize that you are, you don't recognize how abundant you are because you are actively shaping it and working with it in such a way that you don't realize that it comes so naturally to you, pile 3, that I think you just don't realize how abundant you are because of that. So all these cards reversed tell me that this is the prep work that you do, or like the steps that you take as you're working with your abundance. But I think you don't recognize it until you finally like get results on whatever goal or dream you have in mind. So let's talk about the card that is up right here, which is the Queen of Swords. This tells me that one of the best ways to connect to your abundance is by being completely honest with yourself. The Queen of Swords is Aquarius energy, and Aquarius is an energy that is pretty open-minded. It works with groups, it works with a collective. It is the energy of someone that goes against the current, or someone that could be a bit rebellious. In traditional astrology, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, so I do feel that there's this sense of like, whenever you feel very constricting, whenever you feel that you're in a constricting environment, when the moment you break free or push those limitations and those boundaries is the moment that you will most likely recognize your own abundance. It's like your ability to materialize fortune for yourself in a situation or place that you felt you were under pressure in. That's when you're like, I'm extremely abundant. How was I able to break free from that cycle? How was I able to break free from that situation, that oppressive mindset, or that restricting way of doing things, right? So I do feel that when you break free out of something that you don't like, that's when you feel the most abundant. And I do, how should I put it? Don't think that putting yourself in a difficult situation is the abundant part. It's like, how should I put it? Don't feel that abundance comes after suffering or after punishing, because that's not how it works. It's like you're constantly abundant. It's just that you only recognize it when it helps you get out of a tough situation. But now let's look at some of your other cards. I do feel that one of the reasons why you may not recognize your abundance is because you're holding yourself back. You're like, in a way, you're one of your biggest obstacles. Is like, no, wait, you know what I got? I think, is it called screening? Or, you know, I don't play basketball, but I do know that, for example, when you want to get in the way of your opponent, or you don't, how should I put it? Or you don't want your opponent to pass the ball to one of their teammates, one of the things that you can do is kind of like just stand there like if you were a wall. I don't know what that is called. I think it was screening. I could be wrong. I don't know what that's called, but that's kind of like what I got here. Like, you are the person that kind of blocks your own view on your possibilities and your potential. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just like the way that you function and the way that you work makes it to be that way. So I'll do my best to help you figure out the steps that you usually take, which are a form of abundance, but you probably just don't even recognize it. So, timing. The world tries to slow you down because you're going too fast sometimes. It's like you could be a bit impulsive and reckless with this 8 of Wands reverse, or this 8 of Wands reverse tells me that you want to do a bunch of things at once, and that is a form of abundance. You know, your ability to notice or understand that you can do everything is a form of abundance. That openness, that ability to just recognize the possibilities out there is a form of abundance. However, I do feel that sometimes you can be a bit overwhelmed with all of those possibilities and those opportunities in such a way that you spread your energy very thin, and you put like your eggs in different baskets, which is usually said as a positive thing. But in this case, I do feel that you start a bunch of projects and you don't end them, because a lot of the projects that you want to take on do need a lot of time and effort to nourish them. But if they don't give you results quickly, you may get desperate and like slowly fall off of those projects. Or since you're doing a bunch of things at once, you exhaust your energy to the point that you just don't have the energy to complete anything. Therefore, this 8 of Wands reverse is telling you that you are full of abundance, and even the ability you have to start a bunch of things at once and be inspired to do a bunch of projects at once is a form of abundance, even if you don't realize it. It's just that since you are doing so many things at once, there's just so much your physical body can handle and do. Therefore, you may not see a lot of things into completion. You also may be the type that you just need to be in the right mindset. Your body just needs to be in the right state. Your mind needs to be in the right state. Your emotions, your environment. And that's only when you start getting things going. I do feel that destiny and fate could play a role here as well. So maybe you're depending on external powers for things to happen. And by what I mean by external powers is like, let's say that you want to get a job. Well, then it's not up to you if you get the job or not, right? Like, you can prepare for it and be like, I'm the best person you can get for this job. But at the end of the day, it's like your employer is the one that picks, right? So that is something that is outside of your control. Or like, maybe you're creating a product, right? You can make sure that the product works. You can make sure that it's promoted correctly. But at the end of the day, it's up to the customers to say if your product is successful or not, because they'll buy it or not, right? So I do feel that in this case, that's something that you have to keep in mind, that some of the things that you want to do in life do require external influences to be in your favor. And that's why I do feel that the World card reverses here. Is like, you don't recognize that some of the things that you want to do are depending on time and destiny and fate and things being in the right the right place, the right time. So do know that there is abundance here. It's just that maybe you won't see it in under your own terms or under the time that you had put out for yourself. So just be flexible with your timing in that sense. Also, with the 3 of Pentacles reverse, I do feel like you're someone that you kind of just do everything on your own and you are very independent. And even though there's nothing wrong with that, at least be flexible and open to work with other people, because they have knowledge and experience that you can learn from them. It's just that, being able to work with other people could be very helpful and beneficial for you. I do feel like you're the type that you prefer to do things on your own because you are a variable that you can control. You're a variable that you understand and know better than anyone else. Therefore, you prefer to just put all of the responsibility and weight on yourself because you're like, this is what, I know how I work as a person. I know how I think and I know how to do things. So, or if not, I can learn. And there's a sense of like control here. Like you want to, how should I put it? Since timing is such an essential thing in what you do, I do feel that you may feel like your abundance is a bit stagnant. So you just put it upon yourself to, the only way to take control of the situation or of your abundance, you feel that you should just work on you as a person. So that's why I do feel that because of that, you may find it kind of challenging to work with other people because then that's more variables that you have to depend on. And that could be a bit overwhelming and discouraging. But do know that working with others could be a way that you can activate your abundance because then you can do all of those projects that you wanted to do because now you have other people that you can like delegate that responsibilities to. Now we have the Devil reverse, which is a good card to have reverse, not gonna lie. So the Devil usually talks about someone that is under the illusion of something. So it could be limiting beliefs or being influenced by external energies like society. To me, the Devil has always represented society because I do feel that many of us kind of put ourselves in limiting beliefs or in situations where we limit ourselves because we say this is not a conventional path or this is not what people do, or based on the environment that I'm in, this is how things should work out. And then we kind of limit ourselves to those rules and we restrict our imagination and our ability to believe and dream because we go like, oh, that's not possible. Like we shut down ideas that come to our mind, or we go like, oh, I can't go to step B because I have to do step A, which I mean, procedures and stuff are important and essential, but at the same time we do need to be a bit flexible and we do need to understand that sometimes we can't do everything the way that it's meant to be, because let's say for example you are working in a team, right? You have to wait for the other pieces or the other people to do their part. So you can finish your part because that's under your control, and you may have to wait for those other pieces from those other people to come through. So then one of the things that you can do with this Devil reverse, for example, it will be, okay, so what other things can I do to stay occupied or to like keep my mind busy while I wait for all the pieces to fall into place? Again, that's kind of like what Saturn and the world are all about, right? These external forces that are all in this delicate line that of this divine alignment that finally work together. And that kind of vibe. I'm seeing like this like little like mariachi band, and that made me think of like dance monkey dance. So with the Devil reverse, I do feel that one of the ways that you can connect to your abundance is through music, maybe even dancing or exercising. The Devil is Capricorn energy, Saturn is Capricorn energy, so I mean Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, so I do feel that one of the ways that you can connect to your abundance is, dry humor just came to my mind, but I was going to say through planning. Like, like long-term planning, like 5 years from now I want to do this, or 10 years from now I want to have accomplished this, that kind of thing. I do feel by doing that it will help you concentrate and focus your energy a bit more, because the Eight of Wands reverse tells me that your energy is a bit spread out and distracted all over the place. The other card that we have right here is the Page of Pentacles reverse. So I do feel that you need to think long term. Thinking long term will help you connect to your abundance, because then you will be able to know what tools to pull from your abundance, if that makes sense. It's like this whole idea of like, use your timing as a goal to look forward to and not something that has to happen by a certain time, if that makes sense. It's like instead of thinking time is a limitation or a boundary or an obstacle that gets in the way of your goals, think of timing as checkpoints, think of timing as suggestions, and take the timing that you set for yourself as goals. things that you should look forward to when you're moving forward. And also as some sort of guide, almost like the northern star of sorts, is like when you set a goal towards the future, it will bring you better stability because you will be able to not forget what you're working towards, if that makes sense as well. Also, the pages talk about new beginnings, new chapters in our lives, and with this Page of Pentacles being reversed, I do feel that one of the things that you need to work on is better planning, better, a better routine, or something that works for you, that is meant for you, and will get you a step closer, creating those baby steps towards something. It's like when you want to go from point A to point B, you have to build this bridge or build a ladder or build a path from one point to the other. So there's this whole thing of like, instead of feeling overwhelmed, how will I get to point B? Why don't you work with the closest step to point A, which is where you're at right now? Is like, what can you do now to get a bit closer to your goal? So the best way you can connect to your abundance is by focusing on what is in your immediate surrounding and what you have available with you right now. Is like having a cool mind, a cool head, because the Queen of Swords is a very straightforward person. It is someone that has a clear mind, very assertive. So make decisions, be aware of what you have, and be completely honest with yourself. If you don't have something, tell yourself, I don't have this, so I need to learn it, or I need to know about this, I need to research this. It's like, be honest with yourself. If you don't like something that you're doing, tell yourself, I don't like this, I don't like the situation, and then move forward. It's like this idea of like, don't be overwhelmed, or what is it? Don't exhaust your energy by doing too many things at once. Lastly, we have the Empress reverse, which is Venus energy. So I do feel that the other way that you can connect to your abundance is by working on your confidence, working on knowing that you have abundance. It's like, you may have felt like time was an obstacle. Do not feel of it as an obstacle, as much as that's just how things are. That's just how it works. Life is not working against you. It's just trying to protect you from making a dumb decision. It's like trying to protect you from all this reckless energy, or like these timing cards that we see here is because life wants you to complete things and not leave things half done, half baked or whatever. The Empress is a card that is very good at manifesting because it's very abundant and fertile. So I do feel that you have a lot of abundance at your disposal. You just don't really recognize your own power and your ability to get these things. So pile 3, the other way that you can connect to your abundance or recognize it is if you work on your confidence and in your person. Is, again, going back to this animal card, how we talked about Frida Kahlo and this whole idea of self-portraits. It made me think that the way that you view yourself will help you recognize your abundance, because you will able to see your strengths. You will be able to see like those things that you were like, oh, I was so lucky, or like everything just seemed to fall into place. That is your abundance. It's like you just don't realize that you kind of worked up for all of those things to be in the right time, the right place. Of course, you are working with a little bit of like destiny and stuff, and of course that is outside of your control. However, don't see that outside of your control as something that stops you, as much as it's like, okay, well, if I can't push forward more with this path, then let me start focusing on something else, right? It's like, okay, if I have to wait for the results to come in for this project, then let me start working on that other thing that I wanted to do. Or what else can I do while I wait for this one thing to get approved, or that kind of thing, right? Is like life wants you to organize yourself and prioritize one goal at a time. They're not telling you to like give up on everything. They're just telling you do one thing at a time, see it through, and then move on to the next thing. So yeah, with this Empress reverse, it's like you may not feel super confident, you may not feel super abundant, super creative and fertile. The Empress is Venus energy, as I mentioned earlier, so maybe you don't feel that creative, you don't feel that beautiful. Like there's a lot of things that maybe you just don't feel. But I do feel that those are things that you have to work on. Get to know yourself better, have a positive outlook on yourself, feeling confident about yourself and your skills and your way of thinking, your way of doing things as well. And by doing all of those things, you will create this healthy mindset that will allow you to recognize the abundance that you have as an individual, as a person. And that will definitely... So I do feel the best way you can connect to that abundance is by slowing down. So pile 3, take a deep breath. Think clearly about what you want. Work in those things that you want to do, one step at a time. Focus on what you have around you. Focus on your present moment. Focus on the tools available to you at this moment. And that is the best way you will be able to work with your abundance. You will be able to see it, right? If you see what you have at the moment right now, you will be able to know what you're working with. And that is abundance. Those tools are available to you. The knowledge that you have at your disposal, that is your abundance. The work that you've put on yourself, the things that you've learned, the knowledge that you've digested already, that is abundance. You yourself, you are abundance. So pile number 3, I hope you liked your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned from it, or that at least you found it entertaining. I hope that it resonates as well. And I will see you on this one, whenever that is, however that is. Thank you for all the love and support you've given my channel. And I've been saying this for the other pile, so I'm just going to say on this one too. I would like to do a reading in March, because I mentioned in your reading like the tools at your disposal, and that's kind of like the theme that I want this March pick a card to be about. I want to do it at the beginning of spring, which will be the start of Aries season, and I do kind of want to be like, you know, what tools do you have at your disposal? You know, it's a working title. I'm still working on like the ins and outs of that reading, but it's kind of like, what tools do you have at your disposal? So like that, after you recognize what your abundance is and how you can get in tune with that part of yourself, then the tools that you have at your disposal will be like, how can you shape this abundance to be the goals and dreams that you have in mind, or something along those lines. So hopefully in that reading we do get a little bit more insight on how you can do that. But for now, work on organizing yourself, work on your individual person, and also work on recognizing your abundance, but as well as like setting intentions for what you would like this abundance to be used on, if that makes sense. Now I will leave that here. Love and healing from my part to you. Thank you so much for watching pile 3, and bye. Hello pile 4, welcome to your reading. For those of you that picked the Linestrider Tarot, this is how you can activate your abundance. Before we get started into your tarot, let's actually work with your oracle cards just to see what's going on. So the first card that I'm going to take out will be the card that represents you, which is the Lamb. So this shows that right now you're filled with purity, cleansing, innocence. This is an earth element, meaning that you are at the beginning stages of your journey. You are also at the beginning stages of getting to know this new side of yourself, or you may be a very young individual that is barely going through this whole journey of self-discovery and self-knowing. This Lamb tells me that you may be a bit naive, or you're just very innocent, maybe even a bit inexperienced in this new goal or this new venture in life. There's also this sense of like you're super optimistic and very lighthearted, someone that takes life one day at a time, and just you live in the present moment very well. As I mentioned earlier, the Lamb is an earth element, which shows that you are very stable, you are grounded, you're goal orientated. In astrology, earth signs are introverted, meaning that when they go for a goal or they have something in mind that they want to approach or do, they do things one step at a time, and they're not actively pursuing or chasing their dreams. They're just observing the situation that they're in and then acting accordingly to achieve those goals. So this Lamb also tells me that you guys are very adorable, very cute. There's this sense also that you guys don't really get annoyed or bothered by external forces. I don't know, I think that many of you guys choose to be happy. Many of you guys choose to not be annoyed or bothered by any external force that could influence or taint your energy. There's a sense of like you guys work hard to just enjoy life and just be content and happy. But let's look at the rest of your oracle to see what's going on. We have the equator with to make equal. We have Libra, which does talk about balance as well. We have mutable moon with nothing is yet set in stone. We have full moon in Taurus with your dreams need a practical plan. And the last card that you have right here is full moon in Capricorn with the end of a tough cycle. So one of the things that I'm getting, pile 4, is that many of you could have gone through something that was a bit challenging and difficult. It was a struggle that you guys had to actively work towards cleansing yourself and being in balance. It's something that you guys had to work very hard to heal from, it seems. And one of the ways that life is telling you that you can like activate or recognize your abundance is by working on yourself and bringing yourself or continuing to stay in balance. There's a sense of having a lot of Venus energy in your reading, so something about enjoying life, the beauty of life, the pleasurable things in life. You live in luxury. There's this sense of enjoying music, enjoying the arts. It's like creating a beautiful environment around you, and also a sense of like taking care of your physical vessel and beautifying that side of yourself too. So eating well, staying healthy, maybe using products to enhance your beauty, or using products to calm and soothe your skin and your physical vessel. Now I'm saying that because of all the Venus all the things that can connect to Venus, but also because we have Libra and Taurus, and that's why I was talking about Venus. There's also this sense of like there's two energies that you have within you that are constantly clashing and you're trying to put into balance. So these two energies could be two different points of view, two ways of acting. Maybe you have a goal in mind that is the opposite of how you usually proceed with your life, or the opposite of what you usually desire in life. So I do feel that right now you may feel like this push, no, what is it called? This tug and pull kind of energy right now at the moment, pile 4. I do feel that there's this sense of like one of the ways that you can activate or recognize your abundance is by staying balanced with your thinking, your approach in life, and just in your goals as well. You're going through changes, but nothing is quite concrete yet, because the nothing is yet set in stone with a mutable moon tells me that things are still flowing, everything is still free, everything is still very malleable, nothing is quite concrete, because I feel that right now you're focusing more on yourself rather than on your goals or what you want to do in life. Therefore, it might be a bit challenging to work towards something if you haven't really set the intentions or haven't really set a goal for you to work towards. I do want to mention though that I have my Mars in Virgo, so I do tend to think that the only way we move forward is after setting a goal, right? I'm a goal-oriented person, so I do feel that I do have to keep in mind that some of you may not work that way, but so you don't really need to see the end goal to know where you're heading. Some people are very good at just kind of moving forward and see where life takes them, which of course that's not how I work, but I'm mentioning that because maybe you guys don't really have a goal in mind, you're just going with the flow at the moment. And if that's the case, do know that by doing that, you are, in a way, swimming or basking within your own abundance. Just allowing that energy to flow freely is you living within or surrounded by that abundance. However, if you want to see things going or you want to see things working, you do need to have a more practical approach to your goals and dreams. Now I'm saying that because you have 3 things that make me think of that. You have Capricorn energy, you have the Lamb with Earth energy, and then you have Taurus, which is also an Earth sign, meaning that the practical way of doing things here is like setting a goal and making a plan towards the steps that you will need to accomplish that goal. What do you need to learn? What do you need to do? And maybe who you even need to contact in order to make these goals work. Now, the end of a tough cycle approaches. I do feel that you're still in the transitioning stage of getting to know yourself better, or going through the transitioning phase of doing your shadow work and healing, so like that you are in a bit more of a stable position in your life. So I do feel that one of the best ways you can connect to your abundance at the moment is by continuing to work on yourself, because I do feel that the stability that you will like be rewarded with after healing yourself will give you enough space and time to be able to analyze the abundance that you have and create a stronger foundation to be able to work with that abundance that you have available. And when I say available, I don't necessarily mean that it's like a finite source. It's, you know, your abundance is infinite. You have a bunch of it. But what I mean at your disposal is like the type of abundance that I'm talking about at that moment was like the tools that you have available to you at the present moment. But yeah, there is a lot of untapped potential here. There is still a lot of abundance that you haven't been able to work with or even see or acknowledge, because it's still in this very untangible phase, if that makes sense. It's in a stage where you can't really grasp it. You can't even really like wrap your head around that kind of feeling. And the reason why you can't really wrap your head around this is because you're still in a transitioning phase. So two things that you have to work on, well, I guess 3 things you have to work on. 1 is balancing yourself and creating this new sense of harmony. 2, set intentions or goals so that you know what your abundance will be working towards. And 3, create a plan towards those goals to make them a bit more tangible. Those are like the main 3 things that your oracle is saying right now as to how you can connect to your abundance. And well, it's more like how can you work with your abundance, but yeah, that is what the oracle is telling us right now. Okay, the other thing that I'm getting though is like if you feel things are a little bit crazy or everything is still up in the air, everything's flowing a little bit too freely in the sense that you can't grasp all this abundance, that's because you need to bring yourself into balance and find alignment once again with the equator and the Libra card. It kind of feels like you need to have this balance of being flexible and open-minded, but at the same time a balance of having rules, plans, or some sort of structure, if that makes sense. And of course, by working on yourself, it will give you the stability necessary to be able to ground all of this potential abundance that you have. Now, I'm saying it that way because I was thinking of like potential energy. So yeah, your abundance is a potential energy that you have, and what you do with that is how you're changing that into kinetic energy. You know, the proactive side of you that is working to achieve those dreams. But now let's go into your tarot to answer the question, how can pile number 4 activate their abundance? So we have the Queen of Pentacles reverse. We have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Now I find it very funny because when I saw the Queen of Pentacles, which I mean, I think it's very fitting to your reading, I wanted to laugh because I wanted to be like, oh, see, she's even holding like a little becerrito, which I think it's like a little goat. And that made me think of how you have a goat, a lamb, and a bull, which makes me think of just a bunch of earth energy. Anyway, so you have the King of Pentacles. I mean, the Knight of Pentacles reverse. We have the 10 of Cups reverse. Okay, how can pile number 4 activate their abundance? The 9 of Pentacles reverse. The 6 of Cups upright, and the 4 of Pentacles reverse. You have a bunch of Pentacles energy. So maybe the type of abundance that you're working on is something that you can like touch and feel, or you're working on your career potentially, or maybe your finances too, right? Because Pentacles energy talks about also you have a lot of feminine energy. You have water and earth. If anything, the only masculine energy that we have here is Libra, since it's an air sign. And masculine energy is just a type of energy that is very proactive. It is one that works towards chasing their goals and their dreams. It's one that is actively going and doing things to accomplish their goals. Feminine energy is a little bit more laid back. It's more like, let me observe the situation before I take action. Also, feminine energy is more like, let me attract all of this. I just got a metaphor. let me attract all of these opportunities, abundance, and people into my life to accomplish my dreams. But the metaphor that I got is like feminine energy is like setting a trap for your goals to come towards you, and masculine energy is like the hunter, the one that chases after what it is that they want. That's the metaphor that I got. So I hope that makes sense, pile 4. Anyway, so Pentacles talks about our career, our work, our finances, our health, and any material possessions, anything within the 3D world. And the Cups is water energy, which talks about creativity, it talks spirituality, and our emotions. So that is when you are in that laid back energy of just observing your situation, analyzing your options, making decisions, that is how you are connecting to your abundance. Which, I mean, that seems to be like a common theme in most of the piles that we got today. Is like the whole idea of like making a choice is abundance. Is like the opportunities available to you is a form of abundance. Is like the fact that you have opportunities or decisions to make is a form of abundance. It's like you have destiny in your own hands at that point, right? The decisions that you make, the actions that you take, and the view that you have upon them is a form of abundance. So the first thing that we have right here is the Queen of Pentacles. With the Queen of Pentacles upright usually talks about someone that's very abundant, and it's overflowing so much abundance that they're able to share that with the people around them. The Queen of Pentacles is very caring, very nurturing, and it also talks about someone that is a very stable position in their career. They are financially very stable, and they're able to provide any material support to other people. So may it be money, may it be food, may it be anything that we need. The Queen of Pentacles is very good at obtaining those things and giving that to those that need it, right? However, when you have the Queen of Pentacles reversed, it kind of shows that instead of giving all of that abundance and all of those material things away to others, it is better for you to internalize the energy and take care of yourself. Also, the Queen of Pentacles is Taurus energy, so one of your best your best plan of attack should be to prioritize yourself, take care of yourself, and make sure that you go through the self-care, self-love, self-nurturing, anything that goes along the lines of taking care of your physical vessel, of your heart, and of your mind. There is a sense of the best way that you can recognize or see your abundance is if you focus on yourself at the present moment. There is a sense of like giving yourself a big hug, a sense of nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, being patient and understanding with yourself. Is like give yourself the motherly love necessary to nurture you, prioritize you. And by doing that, it will make it easier to be able to tap into your abundance because you will be in a more stable mindset and position in your life. It's like you don't have to think about survival, therefore you're going to be able to take the time to analyze the abundance that you have. Which takes me to the second card that we have right here, which is the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is Virgo energy, and Knights talk about it talks about mutable signs, which I'm saying that because you have a mutable moon, and mutable signs in astrology talk about change. So mutable energy in this case with Virgo talks about someone that wants change, is pursuing change, but is doing it in a slow and steady type of pace, because the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight. So even though knights do talk about movement and change, it is doing so in a slow pace. And why is that? Because I do feel that even though this card is reversed, the reason why that is that right now you have to focus on yourself first, analyze yourself first before you can even think of your situation and your goals, because there's this sense of like analyzing the information that you have at your disposal will be very useful, so like that you can think of a good plan, a good routine, something that will help you get closer to your goals and achieve those things. And that's why I do feel that this card being reversed just kind of shows that you need to take things one step at a time. It's like slow down. And also, there's this sense of like, take a closer look at your surroundings, take a closer look at your goals and what you want to achieve. There's this sense of like, just take your time, look closely at the details and start planning. There's also this sense of like, the way that you can, because it's like start planning in a way where you can start thinking of what you can work on right now, but don't overthink things, right? Because I do feel that maybe you could be like, oh, I am planning, I'm thinking about what I want to do and all of those things, but with balance, right? It is like analyze the situation so that you know what will be the best course of action, but don't do it to the point that you start overthinking, fearing, doubting, and holding yourself from even planning something concrete or even taking action towards these goals. So this Knight of Pentacles is kind of saying don't stress yourself, don't overthink things, don't fill yourself with unnecessary anxiety, because one of the things that the Knight of Pentacles has, if you connect to Virgo energy, is like sometimes Virgo energy needs to stay busy and do something. If not, they start growing quite anxious, and that's because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, a planet that is very fast moving. So Mercury is like a planet that will symbolize very quick manifestation, and it's like an overflowing energy. So that's why Geminis and Virgos could have a lot of nervous energy, since they're both ruled by Mercury, since it's like I need to do something. And the thing is that Virgo can seem a bit calmer because they have some earth energy in them. However, if Virgo is not actively working towards achieving their goals, that's when they get a bit angsty. That's when they start feeling a little bit out of their element. And I do feel like this card being reversed is kind of showing this side of you, where if you want to get in tune with your abundance, the best way that you can do that is making sure that you have a concrete plan that you're working towards, but at the same time don't start overthinking things in such a way that it starts holding you back from even taking action upon them. And also, when you're planning, don't do it in such a way that you start like putting down your dreams, if that makes sense. And I'm saying that because we have the Ten of Cups here reversed. And the Ten of Cups usually talks about a happily ever after. It talks about the end of a cycle. Is like finally having a closure of emotional fulfillment. But with it being reversed, I do feel that many of you may feel a bit disappointment or a bit disappointed, or you don't want to get your expectations up too high. There is a sense of like you want your happily ever after, you want your fairy tale type of ending, then they live happily ever after type of thing. I also got how in Shrek they lived in far, far away or something like that. I don't know why that could be significant, but it came up. There's a sense of like maybe you want partnership, maybe you want children, maybe you want love, because the Ten of Cups usually talks about those things. So I do feel that since this card is being reversed, it's like one of the best ways that you can connect to your abundance is by, again, having this balance of being able to think of the practical things and ways that you can achieve your goals, but at the same time having a healthy level of being able to daydream, imagine, connect to your creativity, and like visualize the future that you want, right? Because Taurus is very good at that. Taurus is a sign that is very good at saying, this is what I want, this is what I desire, with no judgment, and then being like, okay, so this is how I'm gonna get it. Laser focus, goes for it. It's like no one can stop me, right? Like a bull. That's why Taurus is usually shown as a bull, right? It's like the whole idea of like, I have a goal in mind, I just bulldoze towards that goal. Nothing will stop me. And I do feel that this Ten of Cups in reverse is kind of telling you that you need to still have a balance of being able to dream big. It's like, do not judge yourself for what you desire. Do not judge yourself for what you want. It's like the moment you allow yourself that flexibility and being open about these things and being able to dream again with no fear, if that makes sense, then that's when you'll be able to get in tune with your abundance. Because one of the best ways of recognizing your abundance is by acknowledging the possibilities and the potential that you have. When you allow yourself to dream big, yes, you can encounter disappointments if you don't achieve those goals, but at the same time, those big dreams were what motivated you to even move forward into trying to manifest them into real life. It's like what inspired you to take that first step. Now, the other card that we have right here is the Nine of Pentacles reverse. One of the things that I'm getting, because the Nine of Pentacles upright usually talks about someone that is financially independent, someone that has a stable career, someone that can fend off for themselves in like a stable way, if that makes sense, and someone that is still healing. And I do feel that this card in reverse shows that you're still healing, you're still working on yourself, you're still getting to know yourself and finding that balance and harmony that brings you a stable foundation for yourself as a person. So I do feel that this card being reversed is just kind of showing that the before you can, well, it's not like a condition as much as it's like that's just how kind of how it is. It's like right now you're not able to really acknowledge your abundance, even though you do have it and you're constantly using it and you're constantly reaping rewards from your abundance. It's like you don't really see it or you don't really recognize it because you're too you're in survival mode. You're still focusing on trying to stay afloat. You're focusing on trying to bring harmony and balance in your life, and that's good. Continue working on that. It's just, do know that since you're very focused on that side of yourself and like healing yourself, that's why you find it very difficult or maybe challenging to acknowledge your abundance and connect with it. Not because it's not there, as much as it's like you can't even bring enough time and space to think about it because you're still too busy taking care of yourself. So do know that if you are not, if you go like, oh, am I even abundant, or how can I reach abundance, it's like you already have it and you always will. It's just like at this moment you can't use it at your own will, under your own will, because you're still focusing, you know, that abundance is naturally just working on taking care of yourself and healing yourself. You're in survival mode. So the last thing you are thinking about is of creativity. The last thing you're doing is imagining and daydreaming because you're still taking care of your physical needs. The moment you take care of your physical needs, that's when you will be able to work in the creative aspect. Now, the Six of Cups. I promise. I do feel that the other way that you can connect to your abundance is by setting goals, which I talked about earlier. But the Six of Cups talks about our childhood. It talks about things from the past. So I do feel that one of the best ways that you will be able to connect to your abundance is by making sure that you remember what you had forgotten. Okay, I had a feeling that I will have to talk about this. I just didn't know it was going to be for this. So, yesterday, I took a nap and I had a dream that my younger sister and I were like looking through a bunch of SD cards because we were looking for a memory or something. Just the thing is that I knew I was looking for a memory, like an SD card. I just didn't know what it looked like or what it had in it. And this other person, which I do feel that could be relevant for you guys as well, this guy just came out of nowhere and he was asking me questions. I don't know if he knew what I was looking for and he was trying to help me remember what I had forgotten, or if he was just asking me the right questions to try to trigger a memory that will help me remember what I was looking for. But all I remember is that I was looking for an SD card and I was looking through a bunch of them like, well, what did it even look like? So I'm telling you guys this because I do feel like this could be relevant for you, because the Six of Cups to me has always felt like a promise or a vow, and I do feel that that's kind of what I could have forgotten, like something that I promised or a memory that I share with someone. And I think this someone could be someone that I'm connected to spiritually, but not necessarily someone that I know physically, because I don't remember how this person looks like. And I do feel that with you guys, this is a way that you can trigger your abundance. It's like the moment you have connections with people, or like the promises you made to people, like those hopes and dreams are a way that you can connect to your abundance. Also, the aspirations that you had when you were a young child could be a way that you connect to your abundance as well. It's like there's this sense of like you will recognize your abundance when you dream once again, pile 4. I don't know what tough cycle you went through, but whatever it was, it really kind of broke a part of you, something inside of you that right now you're healing, and because of that, you're in that survival mode. But the moment you start dreaming once again, you start believing once again, and you don't limit yourself to things that could shut down possibilities and potentials out there, that's when you will be able to connect to your when you will be able to see your abundance and like work with it, if that makes sense. Also, inner child healing could be significant. That could also help you, because maybe when you were younger you felt very lucky and everything just kind of worked your way, and if that's the case, that's probably when you were working with your abundance and being surrounded by it, right? Again, it's this whole idea of like you are super abundant and you always have it. It's just that right now you don't have the mental capacity to think about it or to analyze it or to work with it in an active way because you're taking care of yourself. Lastly, the card that we have here is the Four of Pentacles reversed. So there's a sense of being flexible, because upright, the Four of Pentacles could talk about someone that is very, like, holding very close to the things that they treasure. It could be their money, it could be their material possessions, like they're holding on to it very closely. But one of the things that goes with the Four of Pentacles upright is usually this whole idea of, like, when you hold on to something that you treasure so closely towards you, you don't move forward. You're stagnant. You're staying in place. So there is a sense of this card being reversed. Life is kind of telling you to not be afraid of letting go of things. They're telling you to not be afraid of having a flexible way of thinking and a flexible way of acting. There's also this sense of, like, don't be too stubborn or stuck in your ways, because there's other people can inspire you to do things differently, and those things could work for you a bit more effectively. And that is because you are changing your person, you're changing your way of thinking, you're finding balance and harmony, and this new version of yourself that you are becoming could be desiring something completely different from what you used to be before. And that's not saying that you have changed to a completely different person, as much as you're just having a different approach to your goals, your dreams, and your way of treating yourself as well. Also, when I saw the Four of Pentacles, I started to think of the Four of Swords, which talks about meditating, relaxing. It talks about resting, so that could also help you connect to your abundance. Is like when your mind is not thinking too much, or when you're able to actually when you're not super focused on anything, is like those spontaneous moments of inspiration is a form of abundance, or a way that you will recognize your abundance, your potential. The other thing that I'm getting with this Four of Pentacles reverse is, like, do not be afraid of using the things that you saved up for. Is this sense of, like, there's this, like, thing with abundance, right? Where, like, for example, money is like, it is good to save money, but also do not be afraid of spending your money. It's like, if you have a job, you're working to earn money for your stability and your comfort, remember to spend that money on that comfort that you are aiming for. Because if you don't, then what is the whole point of, like, working that hard, right? It's like this whole idea of, like, do not forget, which I kind of did mention a little bit with the Six of Cups. Like, do not forget why you are doing what you're doing. Because the moment you forget, you become like this well-oiled machine that is working constantly in this routine, but then you kind of lose the soul behind it, right? Because by forgetting that purpose or that reason, you could lead yourself to burnout, or lead yourself to exhaust this energy, and that could work against you, because then you don't feel abundant. You just feel like you're stuck in this cycle, you're stuck in just this routine. But if you continue remembering why you started doing what you're doing in the first place, you will feel abundant, and you won't feel like you're lacking anything, because you start creating this cycle of, I work with this abundance to feel abundant. It's like this circular reasoning of sorts of, like, how do I activate abundance is by feeling abundant. You know, it's kind of like you already are, so there's technically no way to activate it, because your abundance is always on. So if anything, yeah, the best way that you can recognize your abundance is by just acknowledging that you are always abundant, and just making sure that you are, taking care of yourself right now. It's like, the moment you take care of yourself, then you will have, like, the space to think of your abundance. You will have the space to think of the potential, and you will be able to remember why you do what you do, why you have the job that you have, why you have the routine that you have. It's like, you will be able to move freely if you don't forget or lose yourself. So, pile 4, I hope you like your reading. I hope you learned from it, or at least found it entertaining. right now you are focusing on yourself, so keep doing that, keep taking care of that. And the other thing that I'm going to say is that in March I'm hoping to do another pick a card reading, and my goal there is to talk about like the tools that you have at your disposal, something along those lines. And the way that that will work is like right now you're recognizing your abundance, but when you know how to work with it and you are able to see how abundant you are, what do you do with it, right? So my goal is around, you know, March 20th or something. It depends how I feel too. Anyway, but what I'm getting at is like, you know, at the beginning of spring, I kind of want to see, I want to give you guys a pick a card reading where you're able to see what you have, what tools you have at your disposal, so like that you know how you can start shaping this abundance and how to work with this abundance in a more like maybe what skills you're good at, or maybe or what people you have that in your immediate surrounding or stuff along those lines, right? We will see how that works out. I still have to plan it out, but I'm letting you guys know in case so you can look forward to that, because I do wonder, well, I think this reading will be connected to that one when it happens. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for all the love and support. I hope this reading resonates with you. I will see you guys on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye.